Hi folks, Michael Mann here with the N to Z Toolbox, and I'm really excited to be bringing you the first ever young professional question video. Reached out to about 25 YoPros last week asking them, hey, what's a challenge that you're facing or a problem that you're really experiencing or something that you're just figuratively banging your head up against the wall regarding. And I had a bunch of them submit questions. And I'm excited to hop in and attack those today. I started to do a huge, like 45-minute, hour-long video addressing a bunch of different questions, but then, per the advice of my wife, thought better of that and figured I would just attack these one at a time in shorter, more bite-sized videos. And so the first question that I received back came from Anna. And here's her question. She says, coming out of college, a lot of jobs require experience. However, a lot of people don't have experience because we just got out of school. Is any experience with the job that will hire me good experience, or should I be looking to get experience in the field that I'm pursuing? Great question, Anna. And I definitely have some thoughts and opinions from my experience leading, hiring, and managing young professionals over the years on this. All right, so here's how I would start to answer this. I think there's two different kind of career path buckets that we're talking about here for you, Anna. The first one would be, are you going into a specific specialized career, a la being an accountant or an eye doctor, like I just visited and can't see from dilated pupils, or the medical field, something like this. If you're going to go down a path like that, then experience, say, managing 4 or 5 people is not going to then translate over into such a specific and specialized field. I'll come back to that one in a second, but let's assume for a minute that you're pursuing kind of career path bucket number 2, which is more general. It's not something that requires a ton of specific training and equipping and experience in. And this would be the type of field I'm in with Chick-fil-A, where it's some finances, some management, some hospitality, all these different things mixed in. And a lot of jobs, of course, are going to fall into the second bucket. If you're pursuing something along the lines of the second bucket, then I would say look to get experience anywhere you can, really focusing on A, who is the boss? Who's the person that I'm going to be working directly under? A good boss is worth their weight in gold, and I would much more quickly choose a great boss over even a little bit higher pay or over working for a cooler or better job or specific company. If you get that boss, they'll grow and develop you, and then they'll be able to support and launch you into the next thing, whether it's in their company or a different company. And so I would definitely focus on that. The next thing I would focus on in bucket 2 is the work. What exactly are you doing every day? A lot of times we can get hung up on things like titles and roles and say, well, this friend of mine's this or that, but I have a cooler sounding job. But none of that really actually matters. That's just fluff. What are you good at? What do you enjoy? And what work will you be doing day in, day out? And will that work be growing you? If you're, and no offense to this, but if you're sitting at a desk just waiting on the phone to ring, answering phone calls, that's fine, but that's not really going to grow you. And when you go on to the next thing and they ask you about experiences you've had in your previous job, you're not going to have a ton to pull from. So focus on the boss in bucket 2, focus on the work you're doing and how it will challenge and grow you. And then lastly, go ahead and make and keep a document right now where you're able to list out the things that you've learned and the impacts that your work has had on the business. You don't want to go to interview for the next big job in 2 years or 5 years from now and not be able to think back on all the impacts that you've had on the business. Go ahead and get you a document and record those, even if it was, hey, we were having people who were frustrated with this part of the experience, and so I restructured the office and they were less frustrated. Even small things like that. Record those now, and those can be to your benefit. So that would be 3 things kind of in that second bucket. For the first bucket, again, much more nuanced because it's more specific and more specialized. If you come to work for me at Chick-fil-A, then in hopes of being a cardiologist, there's just simply no help or support that I'll be able to give to you in that. You can learn some transferable skills, but they will not get you that sort of career job, of course. And so the recommendation I would have for you here is, if you're sort of at A and need to be at like G to be able to get that job, and there's that huge gap, personally, what I would do is talk to the people who are already in that. So find someone or a couple people in your community. These could be professors, but these ideally need to be people working in that career field now. And first off, connect with them on LinkedIn. Make sure your profile has a good profile picture, that you've got a good about me, and then you need to be posting, let's say even just once a week, some kind of content. Repost something, share something, put an experience you've had, put a picture with your post, because I've found that you get much more traffic when you not only have a profile picture, but also a picture, a video with whatever you're posting. So connect with them and be posting, be active on LinkedIn, so they are gonna here and there see your name and kind of know who you are. Secondly, email them, say, hey, I've been connected with you on LinkedIn. I'm really trying to get in this career field. I know there's nothing in it for you, but would you be willing to hop on a quick phone call or allow me to come over and meet with you at your office, something along those lines. And then third, if they don't respond to that, they're too busy, they're not paying attention, I would recommend you get in the car. It's awkward. Get in the car, drive over there, and just walk in and say, hey, I love what you guys do. I love this career field. I'm trying to get in it. I'm not there yet. There's a gap that exists. And I really need to talk to someone and get some advice and some recommendations on how to best proceed. You've got to bite the bullet and do these difficult things. Otherwise, you're not going to get where you're trying to go in that specific field. What I found over the past really year to 2 years is that people are surprisingly willing and capable of helping us out when we ask. But a lot of times we just don't ask. And we think, I need to sit in my room alone doing Google searches on YouTube, perhaps, trying to figure this out completely in isolation. Or we feel like we're going to annoy them, or what if they say no? But 90-something% of the time, people want to help. And if you don't approach them and you don't ask them, they never know you exist. They never know that that need is there. I have less people approach me, people who don't already work for me, approach me and ask for help or support or advice on this or that than you would think of, even people I'm pretty closely connected with outside of work. No skin off my nose, it doesn't affect me whatsoever, but use the resources in your community or people you're already connected with, and be quick to ask for advice, ask to help, and then who knows, that could be a relationship that then you could leverage to help you get into a role or into a job in a year or a couple years down the road from there. Or it could be someone that you could end up serving or positively giving back to later on. You never know how your paths will recross with someone who's helped you out in the past. All right, so that's pretty much what I would have to say to you, Anna. Get experience if it's bucket 2, focused on the boss, the work, and keep track of what you do that makes an impact for your future opportunities. In kind of career path bucket 1, focus in that specific area on people who you can connect with them on LinkedIn, email them, and then even go see them in person and try it out and see what happens. If you try any of these things, reach back out to me either in the comments or on LinkedIn. I'm always on there, and let me know how it goes. For bucket number 2, what I found is that smart, high-functioning organizations understand that they can hire people who are a culture and a values fit, and then they can teach them the skills needed in the job. And so that's something to be looking out for too. If people will give you a shot to train you and teach you in the job because you're a fit with their culture, who they're trying to be, what's important to them, their mission, their values, then that usually is a pretty good sign that they have their head on straight. And that's definitely something that I live out in my role every day, and we work hard in our little Chick-fil-A bubble to live out for sure. As we wrap up, just in terms of housekeeping here, as I'm kind of getting the YouTube channel up and running and have the recently launched N to Z Toolbox Business. You can find that on my website, nztoolbox.com, or again, find me on LinkedIn. I'd love if you like or subscribe to the channel or to any of these YouTube videos if you find them helpful. And if you scratch my back even further, share it on your social media, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, any of that kind of stuff. And again, hopefully something that you found helpful and insightful could be something for the next young professional who you're connected with, to where they have answers to the challenges and the problems that they're facing right now. If you disagree or agree with anything I've said here, I'd love for you to throw that in the comments. If you have further clarifying questions, or maybe even questions that you're like, hey, I love Anna's question, I have a totally different question though that I would love answered on one of these, feel free to throw that in the comments as well. And as I work through these, I hope that they'll add value to you and help clear up some of the fuzziness that might exist in your mind as you're going, well, should I do A, B, or C? And hopefully hearing from someone who has a little more experience themselves, but also who's worked with well over 500 young professionals over the years. Hopefully this adds some positive value to you so that you can grow at the quickest rate possible, get more for yourself, but also maximize your impact on the people around you. All right, I hope it's been helpful. I appreciate your time for sure. Thanks, and I hope you have a blessed and productive day. See you soon.